So, namaste to all of you. And in Bhagwan's Silent Sunday Satsangs, we meet once in a month. And there is a certain flow to this meeting where we take up some reading material which is relevant and in reference to Bhagwan's teachings. We read from the books and we share our learnings, our experiences, and our emotions about Sri Bhagwan, how we got to know the teaching, what inspires us, what helps us apply it in our lives. And other than that, we sometimes hear to bhajans or some recordings. And then in the end, we end the meeting with a certain amount of silence, which is the core practice of Sri Bhagwan. So that's how we will be flowing today. And generally, I would like some of you to volunteer more for a more interactive process here rather than just me speaking. But I guess I'm going to start by sharing from the book. I will be reading this from the book, The Conscious Immortality. And I am reading this text from there. It is approximately going to be 4 or 5 minutes. And the topic here is the characteristic of philosophic discipline. So this is in a question answer format where questions were being asked to Bhagwan and he was answering the devotees. So the question is that why is it sometimes that I find concentration on the self so easy and at other times hopelessly difficult? The answer that Bhagwan gave was because of vasanas. But really, it is easy since we are the self. All we have to do is to remember that. We keep on forgetting it and thus think that we are this body or this ego. If the will and desire to remember self are strong enough, they will eventually overpower and overcome our vasanas. There must be a great battle going on inwardly all the time until the self is realized. This battle is symbolically spoken of in scriptural writings as the fight between God and Satan. In our Shruti, it is Mahabharata war, where the Asuras represent our bad thoughts and the Devas are elevating ones. So Bhagwan is reminding us that whenever we will try to focus on the self, our mind will go astray and we will have many different kind of emotional upsurges which are coming from our initial vasanas and our tendency of our mind to go astray and move outwards. But that is like the inner battle that goes on between us and our thoughts. Just like Mahabharata, where there is a evil side and there is a good side. So at all times, we have to retain that awareness on the self alone and let the thoughts just pass over our consciousness. So the second question that was asked was, how can one quicken this coming of realization? So Bhagwan answers, as one strives to know the true I, the attachment to objects, the bad and degrading thoughts gradually drop off. The more one does not forget the self, the more do elevating qualities become ours. Realization will come eventually. So that's a very beautiful affirmation, a corroboration by Bhagwan, where we can tend to get very impatient and begin to feel that we are losing the war, the inner battle, where we are falling short and again and again falling prey to our thoughts and responding to reacting, not responding. And he's telling us to be patient, and he's saying that you continue to keep up that practice of going back to the self again and again, and realization will eventually come if you practice this tapas all the time in moment to moment awareness. So the next question that was asked was, why does an Upanishad say, he whom the Atman chooses, to him alone does it reveal itself and not to others? Does not this seem arbitrary? So Bhagwan answers, no, it is correct. It chooses those only who devote themselves to it, who become its devotees. It draws such devotees towards to itself. One must turn inward to find the Atman. He who thinks of it, it will draw to itself. All such thoughts as attainment is hard, or self realization is far away from me, or I have got many difficulties to overcome to know the reality, should be given up, as they are obstacles. They are created by this false self or the ego. They are untrue. Do not doubt that you are the reality. Live in that understanding. Never question it by referring your realization of it to some future time. It is because people are victimized and hypnotized by such false thoughts that the Gita says that few out of millions realize the self. The order of ashramas, or the four stages of life, was established as a general principle, that is, to regulate the gradual development of the ordinary run of humanity. But in the case of one highly mature and fully ripe for Atma Vichara, there is no graduated development. In this case, Jnana Vichara, that is the self inquiry, and the blooming of Jnana are immediate and quick. So, I'd like to share my own understanding of this very beautiful question and answer. Uh, that like most of us are ourselves the obstacle to our own self realization. That is what Bhagwan is reminding us, that it is us who, through our deep conditionings, cannot believe the fact, cannot really gulp it down that, we are already self realized. So we try different prayogas, we try different kind of modalities, techniques, and we go into a chase mode. And there's always like a destination that is far. The self is always like a destination that's far away, and almost as if, like, in the conditioned mind, it has been feeded that it's almost impossible to reach there, but you have to continue to keep running. So there is no point of satiety in which one is just in the like the madhurta, or the sweetness of one's, or the bliss of one's self, because there is always an ambition. As we are chasing other things in the world, we think that we are also chasing self realization. So that also becomes an agenda for us to accomplish in some way. And the idea that it is something too far off in time, and I may never reach it, but I still have to work on it, becomes like so dragging and so monotonous that we give up the chase altogether. So Bhagwan is saying that the realization of the self is actually instant, like a flash of lightning in the moment, when you know for sure that you're already it. So that is what we need to bring into our awareness when we go into the chase mode, and we begin to think that only when we do a quantum amount of tapas or a quantum amount of work in that area are we qualified for self realization. This is how most of the religions, the techniques, or the philosophies, or the schools of thought actually work, where they make you do a quantum amount of work and everybody is treated the same. So, like he said, that there's a belief that there are four ashramas of life and one has to go graded step by step. But Bhagwan is saying, what is he saying? There is no step for a jnani, because he's rooted in the realization that it is right now, that the self is realized now in this moment. So there is no gradation, there is no ladder pattern, but the ladder pattern is so much inculcated in our psyche, in the ways of the world, that makes us believe that you need to go one step at a time and progressively walk on. So I find this actually very liberating in Bhagwan's teaching, that the fact that it's right available to you in the moment, it is actually like really a flash of lightning and so liberating in itself. Obviously, it does not free you completely from the fact that you have to work towards it, in terms of what is that work. That work is not to put your body into any asana or go on doing quantum amounts of mantra chantings or rituals or anything. What is the work here? The work is very silent, the work is very unseen to others around you, but the work is inside you. The work here is to constantly get the awareness back into that, that I am the blissful self. That I am thing is what we need. That is the work, basically. So it is only for the advanced mind. This sadhana of Atma Vichara is only for the advanced mind, because when you are on the uh, when you are not prepared, then you are always ready to accept the platter given by others, which tells you that you need to do so much, you need to do so and so, and you need to do it this way only to be there. So that's a step also. When you are not ready, then you have to do the steps, because that qualifies you to become ready to receive. So all our sadhana is basically not to achieve a end goal of mukti or liberation. The whole idea that we must do tapas to have mukti is also a chase of some sort. The whole idea of sadhana, in my point of view, is only just to till the soil, silently. You keep tilling the soil until there is that flash of lightning where you are just at it. So it doesn't mean that you can escape the work. You have to do the work, but still, the constant realization of the fact that you are the self is absolutely liberating you in a certain way from the chase. Okay. Now, another question that was asked to Bhagwan, for those who've joined just now, I am Pallavi and I'm reading from this book, The Conscious Immortality. And this is a question answer session that I'm reading. So, the next question that was asked was, am I worthy to be a devotee? So, Bhagwan says, everyone can be a devotee. Spiritual food is common to all and never denied to anyone. To a despondent devotee, the quest must be made. Who is despondent? It is the phantom of the ego which falls a prey to such thoughts. In sleep, the person is not afflicted. Sleep state is the normal one. Quest and find out. Does one not find some kind of peace in meditation? That is the sign of progress. That peace will be deeper and more prolonged with continued practice. It will also lead to the goal. This is from Talk 73. Inasmuch as you say that you are ignorant, you are wise, and it makes your way easier for the removal of ignorance. Is he a madman who says that he is mad? Control of desire and meditation are interdependent. They must go on side by side. Abhyasa and Vairagya being about the result. Vairagya is to check the mind being projected out, and Abhyasa is to keep it turned inward. There is a struggle between control and meditation. It is going on constantly within. Meditation will, in due course, be successful. Now, there's this beautiful next line which Bhagwan says, which gives me a lot of hope. If you seek God with your whole heart, then you may be resting assured that the grace of God is also seeking you. So, such a beautiful sentence that makes me come to rest to the fact that my quest or my longing is always and ever being responded by God's grace. He's also probably the self is also as much wanting to merge with the, like the consciousness is also awaiting and ready for that communion. It is not just a one-sided love affair. So you can just, the more you seek, the more you are sought after. So the deeper is your quest, the deeper is your longing, the deeper is your nishtha, the higher is the discipline with which you commit yourself to the quest, the more rewarding it becomes. So it answers to your call, even though it may seem many times that you are doing things and there is no advancement. You still get angry, you still have lust, you have so many other reactions which you see in people around you. But then you know that there is something different, there is something being answered. So that's a very patient, that's a lesson in patience. And the two legs of this are Abhyasa and Vairagya. So beautifully said. So constant constant practice of getting the awareness back is the abhyasa, and the vairagya is to remain detached to your own thought, whatever that thought may be. Those thoughts may be holy, those thoughts may be mundane, about your business, about your life, about others. All thoughts are the same. It's not the character of the thought. The thought itself is unreal, and vairagya is the ability to see them for being unreal and let them just pass over. So that is the practice of vairagya and uh, abhyasa. Now, the next question that was asked was, the tendencies distract me. Can they be cast off? So, yes, others have done so. Therefore, believe it. They did so because they believed that they could. It can be done by concentration on that which is free from predispositions and yet is their core. If the longing is there, realization will be forced even if you do not want it. This is from Talk 265, a very, very popular talk that is often quoted, and that says that if the longing is there, even if you don't want it, the realization will happen to you. So you don't need to worry about what, when, how it will happen to you. You just deepen the longing, just deepen your samarpan, just deepen your discipline, just deepen your sadhana. Whatever that sadhana is to do it with that due diligence and surrender. Then there are a lot of talks, but then I'd want more others also to be participating. So I'm reading one last talk. Can I realize the self? It looks so difficult. So Bhagwan says, you're already the self. Therefore, realization is for everyone. Realization knows no difference in the aspirants. This very doubt that if I can realize, or the feeling that I have not realized, are the obstacles. Be free from these also. So, a repetition of previous words, that you're already it. You're already it. That is what Bhagwan is constantly telling us to believe, but we are constantly disbelieving it and going out and doing so much effort to find out, like getting lost in that maze of chasing. So I'd like to welcome Pooja Das ji and Usha. Usha is a dear friend of mine, and she is a very devout devotee of Sri Nanagaru. So I would request Usha to share something about her experience with Sri Bhagwan and how she applies the teaching to her life.
Thank you so much, Pallavi.
Hi, Usha.
Yeah, hello. So wonderful to hear you in the satsang the first time. I should apologize because many times I wanted to join, but we also have this Sunday online in the evenings actually. But this is so nice, no? Reading Bhagwan's text and spreading grace to everybody else. Pallavi, you've taken it upon you by I mean, all happens in grace, but it's such a huge blessing that you are so available to people who are constantly seeking, those who are in suffering, those who are in pain, those who are in confusion. You go out of your way. You actually go out of your way to help everybody because I think you're immensely blessed. See, because
It's a
it's not
Usha.
easy. It's not
It,
easy, Pallavi, because
yeah, but
uh, balancing everything in life happens with tremendous grace. It's very easy to discard everything and sit by yourself. There are so many sadhus around the hill who leave everything and go sit there. And Nangaru used to say, not everybody has gone with Vairagya.
mm, yes,
Many have gone with to escape life.
yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
So yeah. So it's clarity of the subject is so important, and giving this clarity, you are doing an amazing job. Not only giving clarity, because for purification, as you said, two things. No, Pallavi. One is vairagya, dispassion. One is abhyasa, and yeah, you read about it that there should be this maturity for the path of inquiry. Yeah, and yeah, purification is a must. And to help purify also, you do all these yajnas at your home, taking time for, not just you and your well-being, but for loka samasta sukhino bhavantu.
Who else is there other than all of
I
us
know.
in
Yeah,
one boat? There is
yeah,
nobody else to save.
y-
What will happen if I save my own boat and then the others are drowning right there? That's,
yes.
like in Buddhism, I was practicing Buddhism for very many years, and
Mm,
there is this thing called as the compassion of the
mm,
Bodhisattva. They
mm,
say that a Bodhisattva is a being
mm,
who comes back to life, like repeated lives. Why? Because he's already self-realized. There is no
yes.
difference between him and the Buddha. But
Mm,
why does a bodhisattva come back to body form again?
mm,
Because he has a compelling compassion to
mm.
keep serving in
Yeah.
in the material body that we are, not from
Mm,
some domain from somewhere far off, but
mm,
he's in the middle of this samsara doing
mm,
the work, because we
mm.
need the balance, right? We
Yes.
need saints like Bhagwan sitting there in that place and radiating that quantum grace from there. But at the same time, the world also needs people who are going to be out there and doing the dirty work. Who's going to wash
Yeah.
the dirty linen? Somebody has
Yes.
to do it.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
maybe we are choosing to do that at some point in time. And that's a
Yeah.
part of our,
Yes.
that's a
Yes.
part of the celebration only, I would say.
Yeah.
There,
Absolutely.
there, there,
Absolutely.
there is nothing that is except apart from this celebration. This,
Absolutely.
this satsang, the home I'm going to my hospital to cater to my patient, attending to my body, everything is a part of the celebration. There
Yeah.
is nothing that is apart. And the
Yes.
self is not something that is found in some textbook opinion of some intellectual, but
No.
it is found in the pulsating bliss of what you feel inside your heart.
Exactly.
But please
That-
tell us more about Sri Nanagaru. We would like to know more about him and how.
Yeah. Exactly what you said just now. No.
Yeah.
He used to take this example of this plank over a river. He used to say we carry people from this shore to the other shore, but we remain as the plank to help people to shift to the other side. So you have already exemplified before even I could speak about him. So this is the beauty of self, Pallavi. When you are that, when you abide there, only God works. The ego doesn't.
Yes.
So it's so clear that you're part of the grace when uh, before you present something, you're already presenting it.
No, but tell the others more. I want everybody else to know about who is
Yes.
Nanagaru. How is he
Nanagaru,
connected? Yeah.
yes. Yeah. Nanagaru did not know who Bhagwan Ramana Maharshi was. He was a humble, beautiful, sattvic child. Okay. Born in a very small, tiny rural village of India. Okay, his name was Bhupati Venkata Lakshmi Narasimha Raju. It's a long name. Okay, these Kshatriyas in the south have really long names. So he lost his father at a very young age, and he was a very humble, obedient child, and very giving. There was never a no for an answer from his mouth. Anybody seeked anything that he had, he just gave away. So he was so giving, generous, and sattvic. He would share what he was eating. He would share with others what he had. If he saw anybody in pain, like he would be with them, trying to help them to like come out of their pain and suffering. So in this process, I think at the age of early 20s, 21, 22, he was married early. Before he got married, he went with his grandmother to all these pilgrimages.
Hmm.
She wanted him to give him company because she couldn't go. She was old. So she took him to all these North India pilgrim places. And first, they had been to Delhi, then Varanasi. So, through Delhi, they had been to Varanasi first, stayed for 9 days. He had many spiritual experiences in Varanasi, Pallavi. From there, they had gone to Rishikesh. Rishikesh, they went to Shivananda Ashram. That time, Dr. Shivananda was there. And Dr. Shivananda, I think you follow his footsteps. I many times feel that you follow the footsteps of Dr. Shivananda. If you knew him, I don't know if you personally saw his ashram. His was that of complete service. He was self-realized, but his entire life was service, Pallavi. So Dr. Shivananda has blessed Nanagaru, saying, be good and do good, and he patted Nana. Nanagaru was named Nanagaru by his devotees because he was such a compassionate man, and he was like a father figure to everybody. So one of the devotees from the rural villages, they didn't know how to address him because he was a married man. Like you can't call him Swamiji. But he was so beautiful and, like radiating peace and lot of love and compassion. They didn't know how to address him. And suddenly one of them said Nanagaru.
So that's how you got the name.
That's how he got his name, Nanagaru. This is from these villagers from Artakatla. Artakatla is a village close to Jinur. It's 45 kilometers. They would walk every day to be in his presence. And the most beautiful aspect about Nanagaru was, see, every self-realized saint would, radiate love, peace, unconditional love, and be available to all. And they are utmost simple. You can see the signs of a realized saint. They don't seek anything from anybody because there are no others.
Yes.
They behave like there are no others because that is their state.
Yes. You're
so yeah. So whenever anybody comes to them, they receive them with so much love, irrespective of what the person is. Probably the person is a criminal, or he has done a lot of wrong in his life, or probably he's eradicated from society. Even such a person came to him, he wouldn't see any difference.
Yeah.
He would treat him as he would treat everybody else, which was actually quite shocking to us, Pallavi.
Yeah, you have seen, for others to know, because they don't know much about you. So I will introduce you first. Sorry, I'm doing it a little later. But Usha has dedicated her entire life to the service of her master guru, Sri Nanagaru. And she has been constantly seeing the master in live action for all her life, in seeing that how he actually embodies the teaching. It's not about something like reading from a book about your guru. It's about really being moment to moment, seeing how he's responding to so many different kind of situations. So what has this experience of, so how many years is that? Tell us that. And how has this experience helped you or made you what you are today? What you feel about it? Can you share a little bit more about it?
Yeah, Pallavi. I mean, like, it's very difficult to share it in a few minutes, but I try to condense this.
How
From
many
the
years?
time I met him for the first time, like he came to my house when I was doing my 11th, when I was studying my 11th. And first time when I saw him, it was like an old gentleman, very, very sweet and loving, but nothing beyond. Like I couldn't see beyond that. But by the time he came next to Hyderabad, I had this experience of truth. It was on Shivaratri day when my parents would actually go to this Swami Rajarajeshwarananda, who was also given sannyasa by Shivananda, coincidentally. Shivananda Ashram in Rishikesh, this man, Swami Rajarajeshwarananda, he was Upasaka, Amman Upasaka. He used to live beside an old ancient Shiva temple, and he was completely into sannyas, and he was in tapas completely, Pallavi. So from childhood, we would visit him regularly for his birthday, Shivratri, do all these homas, yagnas, Rudrabhishekam and all that throughout the day, and fasting, and then night we would chant Ram Nam, Lord Shiva, Om Namah Shivaya, and he would ask us to recite Lalita Sahasram every Friday. So there was the discipline from childhood. So, but then there was no complete satisfaction in it, Pallavi. No complete satisfaction, because there was something lacking. In spite of all this, there was something lacking, and it was not complete. So I was like, no, there is something beyond this. Like there is a truth beyond all this.
Yes.
Yeah, not just worshipping, but God is something more. Like we are only seeing a very tiny aspect of it. So that thing was always, like constantly been a void for me, because I knew we were doing a tiny part where God is whole. But I couldn't comprehend that. I mean, I would only know intuitively, but I couldn't comprehend or express it. But later, one Shivaratri day after I met Nangaru, this intense quest to know the truth, to know who God is, to know who I am, I was crying. Like, see, I've already wasted 16, 17 years of my life. When will you show yourself to me as you are, not as we see it to be?
Yeah.
As you are. Then I have seen these cassettes, audio cassettes of Nangaru on our refrigerator, which was put by my elder sister, who was listening to his audio tape. So I just, oh, this is something, let me listen to this. So probably there's something important I need to know. And I put it in my Walkman and listened to it. And he's telling in a sequence, Pallavi, see, in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna has said, I am the Antaryami in all beings. The purpose of human life to realize this Antaryami. You are not the body, you are not the mind, you are not the intellect, you are not the world that you perceive, but you are this Antaryami that you have to realize in this very life. So I was like, oh, so fine, because I had all these doubts of, am I really this body? Am I just this bundle of thoughts? What is truth? Who is God? So everything has been answered. So I'm like, wonderful. Nana has answered everything. This is fantastic. But how will I pursue this unless I experience it? It's wonderful to hear verbally that, yes, you're not this body, you're not the mind, you're not this indriyas, you're not what you're thinking you are the Supreme Atman. But Supreme Atman, you only heard verbally, but how, unless you experience it, how are you going to strive for it? Then with this thought, I cried and I just went to sleep. It was not sleep, it was not waking, Pallavi. But suddenly there was this opening from the heart where everything disappeared. You know, like the body, the mind, the world, the so-called notions, everything, all the thoughts disappeared. And I was that extreme blissful, peaceful state, which was, you know, like spreading all over. And then I realized this body is not me, neither the bodies of others are they. It's just happening. It is happening like a cinema on a screen. So that experience of it was there for a while. And then again, I was back to my senses. I mean, back to this body consciousness. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm not this, I am that. But then the experience has passed away and I'm back to my body.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to be this body anymore. I didn't want to have this body consciousness anymore because I know I am that.
Yeah.
Now I don't know how to get there.
The truth, so you don't
Yes.
want to be back to the mundane.
Yeah. And then I was like, I didn't know how to get back because I didn't bring it. So this was a little difficult, Pallavi. So I called my sister and I said, wow, see, this is the experience and this is the truth. And we've been living in a lie all our lives.
Yeah.
So I have to be there. I don't know how to do this now. So she said, Nana is coming here in 3 days. So you can speak to him. So when I went to Nana, he was all smiles, Pallavi. You know, I recognized that he was God himself in, I think, within 10 minutes because he was smiling gloriously and he said, come, come. So when I went, I sat in front of him. My sister was about to tell him the experience. He said, wait, let her speak because it's her experience. And then when I expressed it to him, he said, you felt like you sat on an elephant, Usha? I said, no, Nana, because when I was small, I did sit on an elephant ride. I did go for an elephant ride. Nothing like that. It's something I cannot explain in words. Then he said, if 1,000 scholars came and tried to convince you that the state that you have experienced is illusion, it is not true, will you agree? I said, Nana, that's my experience. It's not scholars. Even if God came down and told me it's not true, I know that is the truth. Then he said, that is the conviction of truth. Okay. Then I said, Nana, why did it not remain? Why should I be this body again? Why am I not established there? I need to be that because that is me. This is not me. Then he said, see, your seeking was intense. You had so much nishta to know the self. So the self has given a glimpse of it to you. What you have experienced is a droplet in an ocean. Then at that moment, Pallavi, I looked at him and he was looking deeply into my eyes. And I had to step back because that moment I realized he was the ocean.
Wow.
Yeah. It was so clear that
Yeah.
he was the ocean because I did not tell him I was intensely seeking. He knew everything that was happening to me. He knew my past. He knew my experience. He knew what my experience was and the amount of experience I had. And he
Every
said,
finest detail was
known.
already known without any speaking
Explanation.
about it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how a guru always knows about every damn thing that's happening in your life,
True, Pallavi.
which you also
True.
don't know about
Yes.
your thoughts, your subconscious things, your everything
Yeah.
basically. It's like a record keeping to the
Yes.
minutest detail, and
Yes.
it comes onto your face like anything, and it hits you that how is it possible for anybody to know what you were thinking when you have not even spoken about it?
Yeah. So that was the beginning of surrender, Pallavi.
Mhm. Then
I
how many years did you stay with him in terms of timeline?
almost 28 years.
Uh, that's like all your a major portion of your
Yeah,
life.
major portion, because 2017 he left his body, Pallavi,
Hmm.
and constantly with him because I didn't even want to marry. I wanted to remain with him because once you experience this state, you know this is everything and you're here. Your very purpose of being here is to realize the self, and it did happen. Only thing, you will have to be completely established in it, and it's a matter of time. And what else should you do than be in his presence when he's the ocean himself?
Yeah. What else is more worthy to do
Yes.
or to
So
be when you are
also I
already
said
in
this.
the presence, in the
Yeah, I told.
Sanidhi? Everything
Correct.
is sorted in that Sanidhi about your own life. Like if you are in service to the Guru, I realize that anything about your own personal interest, your own personal challenges, about your work, about your family, everything is sorted in that flow because you are
Yes.
already serving the prime purpose. So there is
Correct.
nothing to worry about the nitty-gritties and how the nuts and bolts will fit together in your life for your own uh, flow through the materialistic path of, like
Correct.
you have to earn the money, you have to serve your family, you have to do your
Yes.
dharma in the role
Yes.
plays that you are in right now.
Yeah.
But we worry about them so much that it consumes everything about us. And all we
True.
do is only worry about our role plays rather than actually trying to find out who is it that is actually doing all this role play.
True.
Itna,
True.
the Maya is like so assertive. It is so
Yeah.
powerful that it keeps us constantly engaged only in that perfection of our various role plays in our life. And the whole
Yeah.
life just goes by, and we have not even paid any attention to that sweet little quest or that sweet little voice that keeps asking that nagging question, who am I from inside?
Yes.
But we are
Yes.
always, like,
Pushing it off.
we put it off because we have so many worries about how will I conduct myself in the world that
Yes.
it is overwhelming to everything.
True.
Anyway,
You've
it's
you've
Ma'am,
been
explained one.
10:45.
yeah, it's 10:45, yes, and actually we end this meeting in an hour.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to thank you very much, Usha, for sharing your experiences. Maybe next time you can do more detail or you can talk more. But we'll have to end this at 11. So what we'll do is that we will more people are joining in at this time though. I'm sure that
Do something special, ma'am, the next last 10 minutes.
we can just share one, we can hear one bhajan of Bhagwan, and then we can just have silence for 5 to 7 minutes because that exactly is what we are here for. It is Bhagwan's silent Sunday satsang, not for us to keep sharing the chatter in our mind. So I welcome all those who have joined just now, and I'm just going to be sharing screen for a bhajan. So please enjoy the bhajan and 1 minute. 1 minute. And don't leave the meeting until basically be a part of that silence of 5 minutes. You can keep your eyes open or closed, doesn't matter. But basically, the idea is to still down in that 5 minutes.
प्रभु रमणा प्रसीद कीर्ते प्रभु रमणा श्री 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 रमणा श्रित जन भूषण श्री रमणा श्रित जन भूषण श्री रमणा प्रभु रमणा प्रभु रमणा प्रभु रमणा प्रभु रमणा प्रसिद्ध कीर्ते प्रभु रमणा प्रसिद्ध कीर्ते प्रभु रमणा प्रसन्न मूर्ते प्रभु रमणा प्रसन्न मूर्ते प्रभु रमणा प्रसन्न मूर्ते प्रभु रमणा प्रसन्न मूर्ते प्रभु रमणा प्रबोध स्फूर्ते प्रभु रमणा प्रबोध स्फूर्ते प्रभु रमणा प्रसन्न मूर्ते प्रभु रमणा प्रसन्न मूर्ते प्रभु रमणा प्रबोध स्फूर्ते प्रभु रमणा प्रबोध स्फूर्ते प्रभु रमणा शिव गुरुनाथ श्री रमणा शिव गुरुनाथ श्री रमणा गुरु रमणा गुरु रमणा गुरु रमणा गुह स्वरूप गुरु रमणा गुह स्वरूप गुरु रमणा नमो रमणा नमो रमणा नमो रमणा नत जन गति प्रद नमो रमणा नत जन गति प्रद नमो रमणा नव नव यौवन नमो रमणा नव नव यौवन नमो रमणा नयन विशाल नमो रमणा नयन विशाल नमो रमणा नव नव यौवन नमो रमणा नव नव यौवन नमो रमणा नयन विशाल नमो रमणा नयन विशाल नमो रमणा शिव गुरुनाथ श्री रमणा शिव गुरुनाथ श्री रमणा शिव गुरुनाथ श्री रमणा शिव गुरुनाथ श्री रमणा श्री रमणा श्री रमणा श्री रमणा श्री रमणा श्रित जन भूषण श्री रमणा श्रित जन भूषण श्री रमणा प्रभु रमणा प्रभु रमणा प्रभु रमणा प्रभु रमणा प्रसिद्ध कीर्ते प्रभु रमणा प्रसिद्ध कीर्ते प्रभु रमणा प्रसन्न मूर्ते प्रभु रमणा प्रसन्न मूर्ते प्रभु रमणा प्रबोध स्फूर्ते प्रभु रमणा
So I hope that we have enjoyed the sweet melody of Bhagwan's name. It is actually the sweetest name. I also find the name of Sri Ram very calming, and the practice of chanting Ram, Ram under your breath is actually something very calming to the mind. And we will now have silence for around 10 minutes before the meeting ends itself. I just wanted you to know that there is a website called as myramanamaharishi.com, which is actually created for the use of all devotees of Sri Bhagwan. It has a large database of articles, blogs, videos, resource links on Arunachala, free PDF books of at least more than 80 to 100 books on Bhagwan are available for reading. So please make use of that resource. And whenever you find time and you want to understand more about devotees, about Arunachala, you can go and have glimpse readings from the website slowly. So, and today is Ekadashi. So, we have Lord Balaji with Sri Bhagwan in a certain they're one only. That's what I feel. All the forms are only the manifestation of the true consciousness. So, and I want to thank Usha ji for coming and sharing her experiences, which have touched us in a very beautiful way. Thank you, Usha, and let's have silence for 5 minutes more.